Good afternoon. Today we want to conduct an oral interview with Billy Hopkins at his home in Orange County, Virginia. So, Mr. Hopkins, can you tell me your full name and when and where you were born
William Hamilton Hopkins. I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia,
and your birthday?
October 26, 1945.
And Mr. Hopkins, what about your parents? What were your parents' names?
Colleen Elizabeth Hopkins. Her maiden name was Alexander.
Mhm.
Father was Elijah Hopkins, Elijah Fleming Hopkins.
Okay. And so the Alexanders and the Hopkins, do you know anything about your ancestors?
Well, my father's mother, Miss Julia Hopkins, I always remember her from Woodbury Forest because her and her husband used to live there, but they come from Madison. I don't know what part of Madison, but I know it was somewhere in Madison. I never met him, but I always remember my grandmother. Because when I used to go over there, I used to go over to Caddy. When time to eat, I used to go down to the farmhouse down there, and she fix to eat, lunch and stuff, make her drink fresh milk. I always remember that. Then after I leave there, come on back up there and catch a ride back on.
Okay. And so tell me about the Alexanders.
Well, Alexander, the I remember Uncle Henry Willis and 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 Uncle Boone, William Alexander, and Uncle Henry Willis. When they had their little house in the shortcut, he built that. He built that. Our mother and all of them used to live there, but it was too many. So our mother wanted to go up on Cemetery Hill, so Uncle Henry Willis built a house, started building a house up there, because they didn't want the kids in town. They ain't like that. They ain't want their kids to come to town. Poor town people.
Okay. So now this is in the town of Orange where you were living.
Yeah.
And so your grandmother, what was your grandmother's name?
Murder D. Alexander.
And she was born in Orange as well?
Yeah. Far as I know, she built was born in Orange.
Hmm. Okay. And did you ever remember your grandfather, her husband?
Henry Alexander. Yeah, he was from Madison. Cause we said by him we was some kin to the Turners. They like Tracy Turner and his dad and all. We kin somewhere down the line.
Hmm.
But he was a short man. He always worked at cutting hair. But he was the first black man to cut hair with white people. Right there on Main Street up there just before you get to 7-Eleven. You have a little barber shop right there. He was the only black man in there, them white people that cut hair.
That's interesting. And so this is during segregated time. So
Yeah.
why do you think they let him cut hair?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you really. But it shocked me. He never was in there with another black barber. Always been up there cutting hair with the white people. And
Hmm.
then that's before they segregated. Was black black at the courthouse had black uh bathroom, white and black, white on one side and black on the other side. Same way about the movies, they couldn't sit together.
Hmm.
We upstairs, they downstairs.
Okay. And so that's a sign of segregation.
Yeah.
And so now here you are, little boy in Orange. What are your earliest memories about being a child in Orange?
Uh, I remember my grandmother had a big house, and Ann and Nuna and Doris Maple and all of them used to babysit us. For my mother used to fix hair. Get that little thing, put it straight and put the sternal in, put the thing on top of them, eating it, doing everybody hair. And I remember we had in our house we had a porch all the way across the top. Like upstairs had always you could go all the way across the top of it. And finally, they cut that down.
Hmm. And so now, when we discussed in the pre-interview sessions, you were talking about as a little child moving to New Jersey. Can you tell me about that?
The only thing I remember is I was born here, and then my mother we moved to Jersey, and then I stayed up until I was 4. Then we moved back to Orange. But I can remember a lot of things, and I don't know how I remember at that age. Remember the house used to catch on fire. Remember the fireman came up to the top of the on the outside with the ladder, took me out the crib and took me down the ladder to safety. And my Uncle Nick, we was living with Uncle Nick. They had upstairs, we had downstairs. And he had a basement, had a dog down there, Doberman Pinscher. I remember that.
And this is before you were 4 years old, but your memory, you can
And I
still
remember
remember
I was
that.
4. I was 4.
Hmm. And so, Billy, where we left off, we were talking about a little child living in New Jersey, but then returning home at about 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so, where were you living when you returned back to Orange?
With my grandmother, my mother's mother.
And this is in the town of Orange.
Yeah.
And so, is this the place that they used to call the shortcut?
Called a shortcut on the back side, but the real on the front side, if you go by the front side, it was Robinson Street. It
Hmm.
was called Ten Cup Alley.
Ten Cup Alley.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so, what can you tell me about the shortcut? What was that like?
Oh, it was nice. That was a meeting place for everybody. All
Hmm.
the kids
Hmm.
played ball there, had a cherry tree, and everybody was close to home. All they had to do is call the names. Everybody go their separate ways. The Johnson go one way, the Hopkins go one way, Alice Coast and them go the other way.
So, it's a big neighborhood then.
Big neighborhood.
Hmm. And so now, if I remember correctly, the shortcut was also a place where a lot of sports took place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sports going on there.
Played ball. And then in the yard we had shooting marbles, horseshoes. That's the only thing that we had to play with.
Humble beginnings, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, sisters and brothers, how many sisters and brothers did you have?
Had 2 sisters. Had 3 sisters and 12 brothers,
15 kids.
15 kids.
Okay.
2 died at the hospital, didn't make it home. 2 died, my mother had brought them home. One was named Frankie, one was named Carolyn.
So, what was it like living in a house with that many sisters and brothers?
Oh man, it was rough. It was rough. All the boys sleeping one bed, all of them up here, half of them up top, half of them down at the bottom. Then they had a little cot that the girls they had to sleep in. The Rita and Deborah, they had to sleep in a little cot. But all the boys that slept in, fuss all night long. Get your feet off my face. It was rough, but my mother, we made it.
You made it through.
Made it through.
Okay. And so, like I said, now here you are in the shortcut. Did this house have electric or plumbing inside?
At first, it didn't have no electric, and the only plumber we had a bathroom outside with town water. Had the little pipes running up on there, and they come by and check it. And if you don't pay, they cut it off.
Hmm.
And we didn't have no electricity. Had a refrigerator, old refrigerator, had put ice at the top, so keep everything cool. It was
Ice box.
it was a wooden ice box,
Hmm.
but it had sort of like metal in it. Like a sheet of metal
Hmm.
that keep the refrigerator, keep everything cold. Then finally we got electricity. But before that, them lights, oil lamps,
Oil lamps.
had oil lamps. They had no radio. I had nothing.
Hmm.
Then once we got the lights put in by Mr. Jim Marr, we were the first one in the neighborhood that had a TV. My father bought it for my birthday. Everybody used to come watch TV, black and white TV. And then, after that, had a bathroom, but it was outside, but it had fixed where you could flush it because you had the, town water. But it was rough.
Hmm. And so at some point here, I suppose that you started to get school age. And so, how old were you when you went to school?
I was six, 6 years old.
And where did you go to school?
I went, I forgot the name of school, up there by Zeke Walkenham, where Zeke Walkenham house was at.
This would be the Orange Graded School.
Orange Graded School.
Hmm. And this was a segregated school,
No, all black.
all black,
All black
all black,
school.
and the teachers and the principal, everybody,
Principal,
everybody was
and
black.
then had the smaller grades on this side, and then as you go on up through the building, and then when we had movies and stuff, they used to open up two classes. Had a door in the middle of the building, open it up so everybody can go watch the movie.
Hmm. And so, do you remember your teachers?
No, not really.
Hmm.
I mean, so long ago, I don't remember all of them. But I remember Mr. Holmes.
He was a principal.
He was the principal.
Hmm.
That's when they moved over to Prospect Heights.
Okay. So, did you like going to school?
Yeah, I like going to school.
Now, was that because of the schoolwork or the social aspect of going
No,
to
it
school?
was, we had to go to school. I had to get away from that. You had to go to school, I had to get whipped.
Well.
But then they had, when we had, our school, we'd have kids used to come from Gordonville and Bolivarville. You had to drive the bus because the kids from Gordonville had to come over here to go to school.
Okay. Okay. And so now you are a younger man. You're starting to get to close to teenage years, and so I want to ask you about your community exposure. You know, being a town boy, I'm sure you had a lot of new friends outside your family. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it wasn't too many. It was like, the kids come to town. We met in school, and when they come to town on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday, we see a few of them. We go to the theater, had a matinee during the day. It had different kind of movies, and they very few people come from distant, hung around town too long. We didn't see them on Friday and Saturday, but mainly on Saturday, 'cause everybody come town on Saturday.
So can you explain the town? How did the town? How was the town laid out? Now you lived in on Robson Street,
Uh-huh.
and so if I understand it, you were bordered by Caroline Street and Church
And
Street.
Church Street.
So can you explain how the town was laid out? I assume it was still segregated, blacks on one side, whites on the other
Yeah.
side, and some businesses. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, on Caroline Street, you had what a recap place is now. It used to always been a recap place because they used to deal with the carbon. Used to get the telephone poles off the train when it come off the boxcar, and then they had come on up there. You had Mr. Webb's store. Then on the other side had where Ken and them used to live. It used to be Dr. Phillips. That used to be a doctor's office. And it come on up there. It used to be Mr. Chrome's cab, and right across from there, it used to be Halle's service station. Then you're going on down. You had where the uh, Helen Jackson and everybody and Maples and everybody and do it well. And I'm going down that street and Chin Wadham daddy, where Chin them used to live right by the church. And you come on down, it used to be the the cleaners. I mean, not the cleaners, the
Creamery?
creamery. You used to
Mm-hmm.
have a creamery.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come on down, had a old lady, I think Miss Haggerty, Miss Haggerty store. Used to be right there, and right across from there used to be our church. And then it come on down right there, where Tom at now. It used to be the Ford place. And right before you get to the Ford place, right across from where Dewey Wenham used to live, there used to be just a little lot there, the parking lot. And used to be Leggets up there, and it don't change a lot now. It used to be woods all the way around through there.
Mm-hmm.
You used to keep the used cars there from the Ford place. Then you come on down there, you go up a side street, be the Ford place. It used to be Schaefer's. Then it used to be shoe shop where they fix your shoes. And then it come on up there. It used to be a produce place where they bring the chicken in. People come in and buy chicken and buy eggs. Then you go on past that. It used to be Main Rooter's here. That's at the corner before you come down Main Street right there.
Mm-hmm.
And where the bank at now, the bank's still the same place. Then it used to be Lerner Brothers, uh, Firestone, drugstore, jewelry store, white barber shop. Then you come on down to the end. It used to be I forgot what it used to be on the end. But you go up that side street, it was Sherman Pool Room.
So we're on Railroad Avenue now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you come up and then you come stay on Main Street, go across the track. Used to be Ricky Drugstore. And then where Ricky Drugstore had moved on the side next to the jewelry store, used to be an A&P. A&P used to be first before it moved down there where down there where McDonald's at now, where Family Dollar. That's when they moved down there to Family Dollar. Then you go up top, it used to be the barber shop, and then it used to be Mr. Haywood used to work. It used to be a furniture store there. Then you come up there on the end, it used to be a hardware store, and right across the street, it used to be where people used to get their eyes checked. Had an eyeglass place.
So Orange had a pretty vibrant little community there, it looks
Yeah,
like. And with many black business establishments.
no,
Not many.
not many. Except for the only one was had black establishment was Simon Coleman and the pool room and
Mm-hmm.
Sydney Barber Shop.
Mm-hmm. So Mr. Coleman now, he had a taxi service.
Taxi service.
Uh, if I understand, I thought he also had a cafe also.
Cafe was across the street
On Railroad Avenue.
on Railroad Avenue.
Did you ever frequent that place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like in there?
Oh, it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
He was running out all the time. Cause we always like turning music up. Miss Murray coming and get mad. We back in the booth. We turn it up. She cut it off.
So in this kind of establishment, they had the music at the table,
No, I had a
a
jukebox.
jukebox.
Put your money in there, put your little nickel in there, and
Okay.
push your little number and play your music.
Mm-hmm. So now on Railroad Avenue, this is and this time was there mostly African American businesses along there, or were mixture or?
Yeah, but they only had two mixers. That was Sherman Pool Room and had another lady right beside Links. I forgot her name, but those were the only two white. And then they had Miss Kirkpatrick. He used to run the express office where the packages come in
Mm-hmm.
and
For the
stuff
railroad.
for the railroad, and
Mm-hmm.
you order something to come in, you pick it up there.
So now, if you were a teenager, were you allowed to go into the pool hall?
No, you had to be a certain age.
Had to be a certain age.
Had to be a certain age, and then before you get in there, After you get a certain age, you got to get a note from your parents that they allow you to go in the pool room.
Okay.
But
Okay.
otherwise, you couldn't go in that pool room. You could
Mhm.
stand outside and look. We used to stand outside and look all the time, man. Can't wait till the day we get to go in there.
So it's amazing how there was a lot of protocol back in those days
Yeah,
that you stayed in your place.
yeah,
You're a teenager, you act like a teenager.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so now you're out and about in town, you're a teenager, you're moving around, you got some friends. What you do for fun?
Number had parties like at nighttime, in the evening, Tweedling all of them, man. We play hide and seek, and then we hang out on the street half of the night, just talking. Wasn't no drinking or nothing involved. Just having fun.
Hmm.
Just stand up because we could stay up.
Socializing with your friends.
Yeah,
And but you did talk about the movie theater now. So the
yeah,
movie theater, was that segregated also?
yeah. No,
I mean, what I mean, where the races separated.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was separated.
Hmm.
The blacks had to go upstairs, the whites was downstairs,
Okay.
and they had more room than we did. The room that they had from the beginning all the way up to the screen,
Hmm.
we had a little balcony where you sit up there. If it get crowded, you couldn't take no more up there. And then they used to make noise downstairs and talk. We was getting mad and sit around close to the balcony. And when they talk a lot and make a lot of noise, we just push popcorn and soda off the balcony right onto them.
Well,
Just for government
being kids.
being kid, being
Okay.
wild.
Okay. So now your friends, did they have any dancing establishments or any type of entertainment for young people?
No, we had. I think the first one I had was uh, P-Site Daddy, Ned Sneed. He had a little place down there he called a hole in the wall
And this is on Mill Street?
on Mill Street.
Hmm.
Used to be a hole in the wall. He had a little go in there, play a little jukebox, and dance like a samba gun. That's the only place we had to go, really.
Hmm.
Except for like if we go to dance or somewhere else, like Gordonville, Cup Up, and places like that.
But the hole in the wall was a popular place. It was full,
Yeah,
always packed.
yeah. Always packed. We were a young kid and everything, man.
Hmm.
Had a lot of fun. That's the only place we could go.
So in these years, did you travel outside of town much? Did you leave Orange much?
No, except for after I got to be a teenager and stuff like that, we started going to Cup Up to the dances
Hmm.
and to Flatwood Inn. That's over in Little Washington, Virginia,
Hmm.
and across the creek. That's the only place. And then after we got a little older, we started hanging in Charlottesville.
So did you drive a car when you were a
No,
teenager?
I had to catch them ride.
Had to catch a ride.
Had to catch a ride.
Okay. So now you're a teenager, and at some point you become of age and you start to go to high school. What high school did you go to?
To Carver High School.
Now this is the school in Culpeper County.
Yeah,
Okay. And if I understood it, that was students from all four counties
yeah,
went to school there. And so that's where you met your friends from the other counties.
yeah.
And did you have a lot of friends?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends.
What do you remember most about going to George Washington Carver School?
Well, I know I like the football game. We'd have football game during the daytime, when they had games. And then, it was a lot of friends that you met from Madison, Culpeper, Gordonville, Orange, Baldwin, everybody was going there, had people in higher grade, you always kind of looked up to them a little bit. And I always liked to, you know, because I was creative, I like dancing away.
Hmm.
And I went out for a drum major because I took being a drum major from Burley High School because they had the best band there was, Burley and Carver.
Now Burley is the school in
And
Charlottesville.
Sharper, yeah.
Mhm.
And I used to went out for a drum major because I used to like to dance with the cymbals. And the only way I went out for it, but I didn't make it because I wasn't tall enough. And the boy that beat me out here from Madison,
Okay. All right. Well, you tried anyway,
I
right?
tried.
Okay. Did you play any sports?
No, not at that high school.
Mm-hmm.
And at Prospect, I always played center field softball.
Mm-hmm.
When you used to have May Day, we used to play the Lifers, and Lifers used to give us a hard time.
And this is back in Orange.
Yeah, back in on,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, did you graduate from that school?
No,
You didn't graduate. Okay. You remember your teachers?
no, not really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I dropped out. I
Okay.
quit.
Okay. And we understand sometimes life has competing priorities.
Yeah.
You're starting to grow up. You have a lot of siblings, a lot of responsibilities coming your way. So tell me about now. You started to be a young adult. What happened to you when you dropped out of school? What did you do?
Well, when I dropped out, uh, I went, worked over Woodbury, caddying on the golf
Hmm.
course, and then I got tired of that. I was still in school, but I got tired of it. And when I dropped out of school, Moses Humes came through, and he said, "Cause my brother Bobby, he had already went to the job corps." And I said, "Well, I'm gonna go to the job corps. My mother was at work." So I just took off. I just left.
You didn't ask for permission or anything.
Nope,
You just left.
I just left.
Okay.
Just left me, Calvin Stewart, and Carl Jack.
And how old were you?
Uh, I was 20.
20. Okay. So you were a young man then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 20 when I went to job corps.
Okay. And again, it looks like you are making life choices to care for your family.
Yeah.
And so, tell me about the Job Corps. What was that like?
Oh, it was nice. It was, you go to school 1 week, then you work 1 week. They have classes, English and math and all that stuff. And then the week that you worked on on your trade, and you'll work on the highway, like uh, fixing up parks. But I took up welding. I go and take the welding up, and I tried, and it paid off when I left. I didn't do the full time because when my brother drowned, I was the oldest, so I had to come back and try to help my mother. And I got a job at Old Dominion, welding trash trucks and water trucks together.
Hmm. And so now you mentioned something just now about one of your siblings passing.
Yeah,
And this is your brother Robert.
Robert.
Hmm. And do you want to talk about
And
that?
he drowned it over at the rock right across, right over here.
Hmm.
And he had a party, and Tweeling and all of them were there, and everybody in the shortcut. He dancing on a little stump tree, and told everybody, that he better enjoy himself because this is the last part of my hair. And he drowned the next day.
That's interesting. So it's like he
Yeah,
saw it coming, huh?
yeah,
Okay. Well, and like I said, I'm sure for your mother that was pretty hard.
oh yeah,
Hmm. Okay. And so now you come back from the Job Corps and you didn't return. So it sounds like now is that again you become the family patriarch and you're about 20, 21 years old.
yeah.
And what was that like?
Oh, it was hard, but I always you know had to do something. My mother had all her siblings and stuff, and my father was away. He came home, well, maybe once or twice a year. But he always provided best he could.
Hmm. Okay.
But when I worked, I just gave my mother my money, because back then money was, it wasn't but a little bit, but you could buy a lot, because when I was coming up, they didn't have no taxes on food or nothing.
Hmm.
And I saw when they had taxes on it, because you could take $20 and go down and get two great big bags of food. You take $20 a day, you lucky if you get a little snack. you
So
know,
my
but, but I seen a lot of changes.
okay. And so it looks like you're a young adult now, and you're at home, back home. You're working, helping take care of the family. So tell me about getting married.
Well, it's I guess when you find somebody you really like and you fall in love, and next thing you know you get pregnant, so you want to get married.
Hmm.
You trying to do the right thing.
Hmm.
So then I had 3 kids, 3 girls and a boy, and then my oldest girl, she died
Hmm.
at the age of 4. She got hit by a tractor trailer. She was running across the street trying to get to mom and them and Tweeling them across over to the laundromat. Because our coach 2 boys were throwing rocks at her, and it was in the way for her coming back to the house. So she trying to run over there you know, to be with them because they was older. And she didn't see the track and trailer. And she ran up underneath her and it hit her, knocked
Hmm.
up in the air.
And this is Antoinette,
Uh-huh.
hmm or they refer to as Missy.
Yeah, missing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And but you had three other children
Yeah.
and one boy. What was the boy's name?
Christopher,
Christopher. And the other two girls
Dontel, and Tanya.
and Tanya. So four kids. And so, how did you meet your wife?
We had I seen her around town. Well, I knew her because she used to go with a boy named Alvin Hume, Christopher's daddy.
Hmm.
And then, we just hit it off, and we just wound up getting married when she got pregnant.
Okay, okay. And so, work. What kind of work were you doing at this time?
At the time, I was working, I was working at Old Dominion.
Hmm.
And then I didn't meet her until after I came to the job calling, and my mother had passed. And I worked at Old Dominion. When I was working, my mother passed away. Then I was just staying. My grandmother was taking care of us. We was older, a little older now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot going on. Looks like, and
Oh
so a
yeah.
lot of responsibility for a young man.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Whole lot.
Okay. And of course, again, you're again making choices, making life choices to care for your family, and but I'm sure that at some point you had to make some choices to provide income. And so, how did your life go after that?
Oh, it was rough for a while. Job here and job there. Working as a labor on a construction job, and
Mhm.
working with my cousin with burnout and them dad at Hopkins. And then got a job at Webster Brickyard. I just worked in different places. I was just trying to hold together.
Hmm. But
Then,
still caring for your brothers and
yeah,
sisters, and your own family.
yeah,
Hmm. Okay, a lot of responsibility. And so, did you make ends? How'd you make ends meet?
best way I could.
Hmm.
Had to stretch it.
Okay.
But it was, things was cheaper back then than it is now. You know. Then survive my family. I got off on the wrong track, but I did that to survive for my family,
Hmm.
not for the glory of it. But I know I had to survive some kind of way.
Hmm.
I didn't want to rob nobody, rob no bank or nothing, or steal or stuff like that. Had to do the best I could.
Okay. Okay. So, like anything we do in life, there's a risk and there's a reward.
Yeah,
And so, I guess you struck a balance.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Billy. So, we were talking before about making life choices to care for your family, the risk versus the reward. Um, can you explain how that period of your life went?
Well, things got tough. I started dealing drugs. not for the the rich of it, the fancy cars, fancy clothes. I did it to survive for my family, because I had a family, and I did it so they can have a better life, better clothes, better education. Then I got busted. I went to prison. I had to serve time. I know I did it for my family. I didn't do it for just the glory of the money or fancy, hey, I got this, I got that. Then when I came out, I learned my lesson. I started going back to church. I joined the church. I'd already been a member of the church, but then when I moved to Little Zion, I joined Little Zion Baptist Church. Then I started teaching, raising them, my second wife. We started raising the kids up, to go to church. If you're gonna live here, you're going to church.
And so you mentioned about a second wife.
Yeah.
What was your second wife's name?
Asween, Elaine, Dave
Okay, and she's from Orange as well.
from Orange.
Okay, and so how did you meet her?
Oh, I met her doing our in town, and I seen she was, wasn't she had a husband, but she was divorced, and she had a boyfriend that wasn't treating her right, and I just been myself. I was just nice to her. I didn't try to take advantage. I didn't, didn't try to be no playboy or nothing. I was just being myself, and we just fell in love, and then we got married.
Okay, and you're still married to her to this day?
Yeah.
Okay, and so out of this union, did you have any children with her?
No.
Okay, but you already had children,
Yeah.
and she had children.
And she had 3 boys.
So like the Partridge family, now you have this big combined family.
Yeah.
And so, how did that go for you having a large family? That's something you're accustomed to. So,
Yeah.
how did you take to it being a new father and a grandfather?
I just try to do the best I could.
Hmm.
Just trying to raise them. She helped me, and I trying to help her.
Hmm.
That's the only way you can make it. You trying to pull together, although with different daddies and stuff like that, and different parents. But we got along. We had a little ups and downs, but we got along, and they turned out pretty good.
Hmm. And you mentioned before about in your going back to church and that you and your wife brought all the children to church with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was a positive, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I appreciate the way you described that because now you're starting to get a little bit older. You've had, as you say, some ups and downs, but you're surviving.
Yeah.
You're still moving along. But now, in the earlier years when you were out in the world and doing all the things you were doing, um, how was your life socially? Did you have a lot of friends?
Yeah. I had plenty of friends,
Plenty of friends. Okay.
white and black.
Mhm. And so one of the things I remember most about you is that being your social icon that you are, is that you also cross over the color line quite often.
Yeah.
And so how do you describe that growing up down here in the South?
Well, at first it was kind of hard because we used to walk down the street, and white guy used to, nigga, get out the way. You know, we don't care too much for y'all, no way. Always small remarks until after it started changing. Then you started getting, I didn't have nothing against him except for you know the nigga part. Treating it like dirt, and I didn't care too much for that. But I wasn't a violent person. Then as I got older, I started meeting some of them, and we started, getting closer after, they started segregating. Then I started meeting, some white people, and then become friends. Then they treated me like one of them, and I treated them just like family, you know. And but then after that, It ain't make no difference to me.
Mm-hmm.
Color doesn't make no difference. You treat me all right, I treat you all right.
Okay. And so now by this time you're starting to age a little bit. Your parents have moved on. A lot of your siblings are growing up to be adults themselves. You have your own family. You have your own wife, your own children and grandchildren. Uh, how many grandchildren do you have?
17,
You have great grandchildren too?
9.
All right. Okay. And so tell me about work. Do you still work?
No, I had to retire when I had an accident
Mm-hmm.
in 2006. I fell off the machine
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and, 10 feet on concrete.
Okay. Okay.
So God bless me because I know I was paralyzed. And my friend moved me. Well, I should have called a rescue squad because I was at work. I told him, bring me home 'cause I didn't want to die here. And when he moved me, I guess God put his hands on me.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't move nothing but my neck. I couldn't move nothing down here. And when
Mm-hmm.
he rolled me over, I could move. I could get up and walk. And he helped me to the car and brought me home.
Okay. And so now here you are now. Um, I think you had a birthday on October 26th,
Yeah,
and that makes you 74 years old.
74.
And so you are what they call aging gracefully.
Yeah,
And so, but now you're retired, but you have some health concerns.
yeah.
And so, what's your outlook on life now?
Day at a time. To take a day at a time. I don't. I might think about tomorrow. I might say what I want to do. Well, it's up to God for make it come true.
Hmm.
But I'm not a quitter. I'm not gonna give up. I gotta have surgery next month, and I got a deteriorating disc disease in my back. My disc deteriorated.
Hmm.
Well, I don't have 5 back surgeries. This be number 6.
Okay. Okay. But you're optimistic that things are going to go well.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I leave it up to God. I don't let it bother me.
Hmm.
Because I figure, I tell a lot of people if things, because I see a lot of people be worried about bills, be worried about this and that. I worry in my own way. I might smile, but on the inside, I don't know where I'm going to get it from. But, I just don't worry because you can't let it worry about you.
Hmm.
Because if you let it worry you, then you start having, bad nerves. You get sick, you worry about this, and then next thing you know, it's all on your mind all the time. Just like my surgery. I don't let it bother me. Put me to sleep. If it's God's will, I wake up.
Hmm. Well, that sounds like a good attitude to have.
Yeah.
And so, okay, Billy, before we end, I want to go back to something because you were telling me before about living in town, living in the shortcut.
Uh-huh.
And then at some point around 1970 or so, they put a bypass through the middle of
Yeah.
town. How did that affect your life?
It affected a lot because we had to move from there because my mother was gone and my grandmother, she was older. So she figured she'd get a lot of money out there. But by living with her, I could, they were going to give me money, $2,000 toward rent or toward a house. So I took my 2000 and bought a piece of land from my uncle Nick Williams. And that's where I built my first house. Then when I got in trouble and went to prison and came back, I couldn't catch up, so I lost it. So we had to live here, live there, live in different houses that wasn't up to par, but we made a home out of. And then by living in town again, my wife, Joy Day, gave us a house that we can do what we want to it. So I saved up the money, I worked every day, and we built a place for my family, somewhere to go. And we didn't have to, pay the man for rent like some people have land to sell it and now they're paying rent. They've been paying rent for 30 or 40 years, and they don't own it.
Well, actually, that's a good story of redemption and perseverance because, like you say, even in the hardship, you found a way to survive.
Yeah.
And so now at 74 years old, I want to ask you a question about lessons learned in the time that you've been here on this earth. If you had to look back from then to now, what are some of the more important things you've learned?
Well, I learned that you got to depend on God. You got to depend on family. Family got to stick together, and you have to learn to trust people. Sometimes you can't trust them all the time because people are not the same. All people are not the same. Some people might, yeah, man, I do this for you, I do that for you. Then when it's time to do it, man, I'm sorry, I can't do it. When you don't help a lot of people, but I don't hold that against them. I just keep on going. But if it weren't for my family and my wife, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I thank God for it.
Okay. Well, I think that's well said, sir. And of course, I want to thank you for your time today. I know that your time is valuable, but we wanted to make sure that we capture your narrative on your terms. And so, again, we thank you for your time, and we'll leave it at that.